TV spots have been around almost as long as television shows have been airing. During the breaks of our favorite shows, we'd see little cute commercials in between segments. Sometimes we dreaded them because they were just, for adults, too boring. We just wanted to get back to our show. Most of us wisely used this time to take bathroom breaks as quick as we could since we've been holding it in the entire show. Little did we know just how much nostalgia these things we used to want to skip so bad would bring. If I ask myself what spots and bumpers do I remember the most when I was a kid, certain ones comes to mind immediately. The Halloween Horror Nights commercial they used to air every October. The end of every PBS Kids show that had the same Juicy Juice commercial that would thank viewers like you. And who could forget the Cozy Kisses commercial that would air every holiday season. For those who were around pre-2010, we've shamelessly been littered with all of these things, mostly aimed to make us want to spend more money. One of the things I theorize about is the idea that humanity's two main weaknesses are nostalgia and boredom. Companies are aware of this and it works. The biggest nostalgia wave in the past, not only 10 years, but 20 years, has been the 80s, and it hasn't even come close. Every generation has gone through it. In the 80s, they had nostalgia for the 50s, 90s for the 70s, and so on. However, with shows like Stranger Things, movies like It Chapters 1 and 2, and now artists like The Weeknd and Dua Lipa, this current wave of nostalgia stuck around the longest in any other generation. Just look at all these vapor and chill wave mixes on YouTube that are all about recreating that time, which I myself admittedly adore. But going back to bumpers, what is it about them that is so cozy and warm and fuzzy and compared to just every other commercial out there? Well, let's look at the definition for spots and bumpers. TV spots are essentially shortened and summarized versions of their 2-minute commercial counterparts. Bumpers are a brief announcement that are even shorter, around 5 to 15 seconds, that usually have a recurring voice that is exclusive to that network airing it. Recurring is the key word here. It has a sense of familiarity, like something we can continue to go back to, creating an immersion that the network we've watched is sort of a hub world for all the shows we all loved to watch growing up. Knowing that there were also set times to watch your favorite shows felt like we had to make sure we had to be able to make it, like we were catching a screening at a movie theater. Knowing that there were probably millions of others watching at the exact same time as we were created a bigger sense of community. Obviously now we've excelled in accessibility and convenience and watching whatever we want to watch, which is totally amazing. But forgive me if I sound like the elderly guy who wants to make casual conversation with you in the subway when you just want to go home without bother. But there has been a dramatic decrease of that sense of community, that we're all going through something together and instead making it feel like we're all on our own. We can stream anything we want now at our leisure, with no ads at all if we choose to. But it felt like the shows and movies we used to watch were almost bigger back then than they are now. Nowadays, you're sort of one and done with them. But back then, when a movie or show came out, everyone would rave about it for weeks. And the reason is, because we had less platforms and channels to watch them on. Checking statistics and using the show Survivor for this example, in the year 2000, Survivor hit 51.6 million views in the season 1 finale. Now looking back into more recent times, the last huge show of the past few years was Game of Thrones. Everyone was talking about it, comparing it to being even bigger than the Super Bowl. The number for its highest viewed episode on television, 12.5 million. And honestly, that's okay. It just means there are more platforms to watch it on. Taking it into account, the streaming numbers, Game of Thrones jumped closer to 20 million. That's still massive nowadays when an average show gets around 8 million per episode. There are just so many things to watch now. No one can watch every single little thing, so you have to choose where you want to go. The world is constantly changing and some separation is inevitable. Maybe that's why looking at older bumpers now is so bittersweet and melancholic. They became an unintentional symbol of our innocence and togetherness that we lost along the way. There are still ads today, of course, but 100% of them are always trying to sell you something instead of them being more of a break and breathing room in between your favorite shows. It was like on the car rides home, listening to the staticky and perfect radio, knowing that there's thousands of others tuning in at the same time as you, exhausted from work, you just want to go home, listening to some tunes with a soft sunset as you make your way on the freeway. The same way we feel about TV bumpers can be said for radio bumpers. With that one announcer who goes overkill with making sure you know what radio station it is.
Yo, 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 this is 92.1 FM radio. You're listening now live to Chillin' Out with Kiss, here on 92.1 Kiss FM radio. Cool. 92.1 FM radio.
Bumpers may be a thing of the past now, but that's okay. Around the late 2000s, it was the end of the Saturday morning cartoons, which is another future video entirely, along with so many of our favorite bumpers, and the end of the era of television being a dominant form of entertainment. But as they say, when one door closes,